2019, the Navy has identified the centennial of the end of World War I as the theme for the week. It was exactly 100 years ago that the Navy safely returned the doughboys from France, right here to New York. However, the conflict saw the cataclysmic loss of scores of lives. Some of those losses of our allies occurred right here in New York Harbor. These sons never returned home, and the United States is the final resting places for these honored war dead. One of the many sad chapters of the Great War were sailors who died of disease and sickness in New York. Cypress Hills is the final resting place of 21 sailors from the French Navy and 3 from the Royal Navy. In 2018, scores of ceremonies were held in Europe to honor Americans interred overseas. Today, we of the American Sea Services return these high honors. Please welcome our honored guest representing France, Brigadier General Thierry Lyon. He was born in Paris and joined the infantry right out of college, earning a commission in 1983. General Lyon led soldiers in operations in Afghanistan, Chad, Djibouti, and French Guiana. He has held many positions with planning, training, and development of the French military. General Lyon is currently the head of the French military mission to France's permanent mission to the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brigadier General Lyon.
Madame, Commodore, mon général, chers amis, merci encore pour votre accueil ici dans ce haut lieu de la mémoire américaine depuis la Révolution, pour laquelle, vous le savez, la France a pris une part active. Je m'en excuse auprès de mes camarades anglais, mais nous sommes effectivement très très fiers d'être ici aujourd'hui, présents à vos côtés. And I would like to thank you very much for your invitation. Now I chief in English, which is not my best language, I'm sorry, but I have to do that. So, officers, NCO, soldiers, sailors, airmen, veterans, elected representatives, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. We have come together today in this famous cemetery, historical cemetery, to honor the memory of 25 sailors who died for France, my country, in New York in 1919. Beyond the memory of these men, we also want to pay tribute to the soldiers of our countries who every day die side by side for the defense of our common values and ideas for our freedom everywhere in the world. What a beautiful symbol we have here on the American soil, French sailors resting among their comrades of the Navy, US Navy, and the British one. Those who escorted ships between Europe and United States in peril of their lives during this bloody war. We are here today to pay homage to them, to their family who suffered a lot, waited in vain for the return of their husband, to their sons, to their brothers. We can't forget that the blood of those heroes, their courage, your bravery, dear veterans, allow us, the young generation, to live today in our safe countries. But we need to continue to work for peaceful resolution of conflict. To conclude, I just would like to sincerely thank all of you to organize these events, not only to remember the past, but to prepare the future. So, vive les USA, vive la France, and a long life to Franco-American friendship. Thank you very much for your attention.
Cypress Hills is the final resting place of 3 sailors of the Royal Navy who also died in New York during World War I. Commander Richard McHugh, Royal Navy, is the Assistant Naval Attaché with the British Embassy in Washington. Mr. Dominique Boulet is the Commemoration and External Relations Manager for the Commonwealth War Graves Commission based in Ottawa. Prior to this, he directed education at the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa. Today, the UK-based CWGC honors the 1.7 million men and women of the Commonwealth forces who died in the First and Second World Wars and ensures they will never be forgotten. Would you please welcome Commander McHugh and Mr. Dominique Boulet.
Thank you. Mesdames et Messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission and the Royal Navy is extremely grateful to the United States World War I Centennial Commission, and especially Mr. Kevin Fitzpatrick for inviting us here, and for organizing this ceremony and for inviting our two respective entities, the Royal Navy and the Commission, to participate in this solemn ceremony today. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission honors 1.7 million men and women of the Commonwealth forces who died in the First and Second World Wars and ensures they will never be forgotten. The Commonwealth War Graves Commission is an international organization whose head office is located in the United Kingdom. It was established by Royal Charter on the 21st of May 1917. Its duties are to mark and maintain the graves of the forces of the Commonwealth who died in the two world wars, to build and maintain memorials to the dead whose graves are unknown, and to keep records and registers. Our partner governments are those of Australia, Canada, India, New Zealand, South Africa, and the United Kingdom. The Canadian agency of the Commission is responsible for fulfilling these charter tasks in the Americas, meaning including the Caribbean and the Falkland Islands. This includes the care of over 20,370 war dead commemorated in 3,400 cemeteries and 10 memorials. Today, we commemorate 3 Commonwealth war dead interred in Cypress Hills National Cemetery. Leading Seaman William Fenton, Fireman John Murray, and Signalman Walter Thornburn, who died in 1918 during the First World War. I was only able to find information concerning leading Seaman Fenton. Commander?
William Stephen Charles Henry Fenton was born on the 17th of June 1884 in Southwark, London. Little is known about his early life or his family. He enlisted in the Royal Navy as a boy seaman on the 21st of August 1900 at the age of 16. After a period of initial training on the school ship HMS Impregnable at Devonport and the training ship HMS Agincourt, he joined the battleship HMS Canopus in the Mediterranean Fleet in January 1902. 6 months later, on his 18th birthday, he became an ordinary seaman. With Canopus about to be paid off, he transferred to HMS Venerable in January 1903, where he was rated able. From August 1904, he spent a considerable time ashore and at training establishments until he joined the cruiser HMS Fort in August 1908. Sometime around then, he married, and his wife Alice had a daughter, Nora Winfred, in 1909. Little is known about his family, other than he lived in Portsmouth. In August 1912, able Seaman Fenton joined the cruiser HMS Minerva, and on this tour he was promoted to leading seaman. His final months were spent ashore before he transferred to the Royal Fleet Reserve in June 1914. The outbreak of war resulted in his recall, and he joined the cruiser HMS King Alfred in the Grand Fleet. From October 1914, he undertook a period of gunnery training before joining HMS Andes in command of one of her gun crews in April 1915. Leading Seaman Fenton died of pneumonia on the 26th of October 1918, aged 34. He was buried in Cypress Hill National Cemetery, and his grave is marked with a United States National Cemetery marker, which is inscribed Stephen C.H. Fenton, British Navy.
The Commonwealth War Graves Commission is responsible for the inspection of his marker and those of Fireman Murray and Signalman Thornburn in this cemetery. These 3 markers are inspected every 6 years by CWGC staff based in Ottawa, Canada, along with the other 100 markers of the Commonwealth War dead in 29 New York City region cemeteries. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Would you please join me in welcoming Mr. Eric Bayer, who will read the names of the 25 French sailors who died in New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, lest we forget. Quartier-maître Louis Lichoux, 30 septembre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Pierre Godefroy, 2 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de première classe Jean-François Simon, 3 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Second maître Léon Eugène Rampin, 4 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Premier maître Pierre Kerdulu, 4 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de première classe François Tanguy Marie Germer, 4 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Eugène Battard, 4 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Second maître Jean-Marie Ettet, 5 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Auguste Téphanie, 8 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Quartier-maître Pierre-Louis Quignot, 9 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de 3e classe Henri Kéricite, 10 octobre 1918. Second maître Jean Grignoux, 11 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Maître François Autret, 11 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Jean-Marie Glémarec, 12 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Albert Racin, 12 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de 2e classe Joseph Mélenec, 13 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Pierre Ducteil, 14 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Quartier-maître Jean-Marie Conseil, 18 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de première classe François-Marie Adam, 19 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot Ernest Noblet, 20 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Soldat Henri Badin Le Serre, 22 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de 2e classe Abel Lancio, 24 octobre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Matelot de 2e classe François-Paul Calimache, 22 novembre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Et enfin, Matelot Martial Leroux, 16 décembre 1918.
Mort pour la France.
Qu'ils reposent tous en paix. Je vous remercie.